Hello guys, it's Aiden from Gamers Class. Today I'm going to be doing another replay analysis for a member of Gamers Class. So getting into today's replay, we're going to be looking at Nadari's Juggernaut game. Their MMR is 3,400, and they also left a note here. They said they also has to focus on the laning stage and also just the general approach. And also before we get into the replay, a little bit about myself is that the primary role I play is safe lane carry, and the peak MMR I've achieved is 8,200.
If you like this kind of content, go to gamersguys.com. For just $10 a month, get your replays analyzed, watch masterclasses with pro players, join weekly coaching sessions, win prizes, and more with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
Obviously looking at the Juggernaut, laning with the Jakiro here. I assume you're probably going to be laning against something like Centaur plus Oracle or Disruptor. I'd say both of these lanes shouldn't be too hard for us to play against. Juggernaut and Jakiro are just both very strong laners, so I think the lane should be pretty straightforward for us, for you guys in this lane. When it comes to the item board, you have the right idea here. You just want like as much damage as possible. What I would say though is you could probably get away with just going 3 tangos and then selling one of the branches and getting a circlet. And this is just going to give you more stats in the lane, and it's going to allow you to get to that Wraith band faster. Like the thing about the safe lane at the moment is you don't, generally as a carry, you don't need to buy that much regen, because you can abuse this tower aura quite a bit, like at the start of the lane especially. That's normally when you get harassed the most. And like you can completely avoid that if you get your lane in a good position at the start and you just keep the lane here for a bit without pulling the creeps into your tower. Like the 3 armor and the 1 HP regen is huge from the tower, so that's definitely something you just want to be aware of in the laning stage, making sure that you're in range of it and, you know, using it as much as possible. We get into the lane here. So yeah, the item build is fine though. You're like in this lane, you're just gonna go for 1 Wraith Band, then you're gonna rush your phase boots. This phase boots is gonna be the item that's your big power spike in the lane. Your boots is also quite big. You do need to watch out for oracles. Like he might take a point in W on like level 2. Because obviously if he uses that, it like stops all the damage from the Blade Fury, so you just need to watch out for that. Obviously it doesn't matter too much though. If he does that, then he's leveling the spell, which he doesn't want to. So yeah, cutting the tree here, cut that tree as well. This is all good, and we're getting to the lane here. So okay, so we aggro the creeps back here. Oh, we messed up the last hit there. That's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, so what happened is this guy runs up and he A clicks you, and then it de-aggroes your range creep, right? So then that creep stopped taking damage, which meant that this guy didn't hit it once more. Which, like, if he didn't do this, you might have gotten the last hit, right? You see this happen, like if you watch high MMR games, people do this on purpose a lot of the time. But I don't think this guy was doing it on purpose. It just looked like he was like running at you and aggro by mistake. So it's just something you need to watch out for, like how the way the enemy's aggro is going to affect your last hit in, because you actually missed your last hit there because of that. Okay. It's still fine though. Your lane is in a very good position here. There's very good deny. The deny on the range creep is very important. I would say you should have contested that creep, and probably could have contested the deny on both those creeps. You don't need to be too afraid of the Centaur here, and you're most likely gonna get level 2 before him right now if you can kill the creeps fast enough, because you deny one of his range creep, right? So if you can deny another range creep here, it's going to deny his level 2, which would be really good. So you should definitely go for that. This is an interesting spin. I don't really like the spin there, to be honest. I do not think this is necessary at all. You take quite a lot of damage there. Like, the problem with doing this is you take a lot of damage from creeps and heroes on level 1. And it also just doesn't feel like it's necessary. Like, you can just pull the creeps under tower here. Like, you're taking a bunch of damage and you're using 120 mana for pretty much no reason. Like, the only reason would be if you can't last it under tower. But that's a bad reason, because then you should just still be pulling it under the tower, because it means you need to last it under the tower. So this is just bad. I feel like you're... Like I said, carries normally don't need to buy that much regen. And the reason why is because they don't do things like this where they take a bunch of damage for no reason, right? Like, if you watch high MMR players, they just never do this. Like, in a lane, you're just trying to last hit creeps and take good trades against the enemy. And as a carry, you're always trying to avoid damage as much as possible. So this is just like quite pointless. Like, we see here, you take what? You take like 200 damage there to kill those creeps when you could have, and you use 120 mana, right? When you could have just pulled the creeps under your tower, lasted them, they would have been dead around now. And then this lane also would have been in a better position, because this would have ran up and then this would have died and they would have met around here, which is way better for you. But now you take a bunch of damage, use your mana, your spin is on cooldown so they can actually go for a kill on you when they get level 2. And the lane is deeper because you kill it sooner than you needed to. So now you're actually putting the lane in a position where they can actually try pressure you here. So yeah, like, there's a bunch of reasons there why that's just bad. So okay. You're CSing quite nicely though. You're getting most of the last hits, so that's good. Yeah, and this guy's bold. Yeah, we know he has the retaliate now. I'm surprised that you guys let that guy pull there. Like, at this point here, this is interesting. Over here. Like, here, I'm not really sure why you're running away. Like, I don't know why you're running away right now. Like you can see the creeps are pulled, right? That's the first thing. So firstly, Jakiro should not let this happen. He should either be blocking this if he doesn't want to contest it, or he should just stop it from happening. And then secondly, you should not be running away like this. Firstly, you can just contest this creep. You have 4 creeps with you, right? So if Centaur wants to fight you right now, you're perfectly fine fighting him. You just need to make sure he doesn't land a stun on you. That's the only way you're ever going to be in trouble. But you still want to contest this. If he wants to fight into you right now, you're down to do it, because your Jakiro is going to connect now, and you have 4 creeps and your hero fighting him, so you're at a big advantage. Secondly, you don't want to be running here because you want to get here as soon as possible to secure these last hits. So this is just random. I'm not really... I looked like you were just shopping there. And now you like realize really late that the lane was pulled. And you missed 3 last hits there because of it. So... you know, you just need to be a bit faster with these things. Okay, and your... hold on a sec. Okay. Your Jakiro is pulling right now. So you need to be a tad bit careful about them going aggressively on you, because this is the best time for them to do that. So you need to make sure you don't create an opportunity for like Centaur to stun you or something like that. But for the most part, you should be fine here. Like I said, Oracle isn't a very strong laner. It doesn't harass you too much. So you just need to be careful here. And this is what you kind of want to be... oh, you might be able to get the kill here, but you will die for it. So that's definitely not worth it. So yeah, this is just... yeah, I don't know. This is just bad. Like... What I wanna say to you is that just try have this in your mind in your future games, that when your support is pulling, like when your support is not in the lane, he's trying to pull for you, right? Whatever like every creep that you get out of this like lane right now, you should see as like a bonus. Because you're basically, what this pull does is it secures like all these creeps for free, right? Like most of these creeps. So as long as you don't do something stupid like die or take a bunch of damage, you're going to get a bunch of creeps for free. And that's, as a carry, that's like all you really want, right? So what I would say is just try to make these aggressive plays. It's just really bad time to make this play. Firstly, because your Jakiro is not here. And secondly, because they have double wave and they have more creeps, right? essentially it just means they have 2 creep waves. They have 2 range creeps, and these creeps are going to do a ton of damage to you if you aggro them, which is what you do, right? The other problem with this going for this kill right now is, let's say you get this kill, you're always gonna die for it, because you should be assuming that Centaur has hoof stomp, right? And if he has hoof stomp, you're always dying here if you commit to a spin like that. So that's the first thing. Secondly, your life for the pos 4 life is never worth it. Third point is, there's a good chance that after you trade lives here for this kill, you need to make sure you spend your gold in time, but it's still not good for you, because what's going to happen, this lane is not going to shove in, it's going to land on your tower, and you're going to miss a couple of creeps because you're going to be dead. So as you can see, it's just all around bad idea to do this when the lane is in this sort of situation. So just avoid doing it. And like now we see, like you're playing aggressively for no reason. Your courier dies, and you're gonna, let's see how many creeps you miss here. Okay, 1 creep missed. That's 1. That's 2. Oh, your Jakira's a real nice guy and he's nuking the whole wave. That's 3 creeps. That's 4 creeps. That's 5 creeps. Alright, so basically you don't want to play the game anymore at this point, right? Because you literally just lost 6 creeps. And what did you get out of it? You traded your life for the enemy pos 4. So basically, what you should learn from this is, in future, do not play aggressively when your support is pulling. If you can get last hits and not take damage and not like die, that's super good for the lane. But if you're gonna die, or if you're gonna take a bunch of damage, it's really bad for the lane. And this is exactly why. So all I'm gonna say about that is just avoid doing that as you go on, and keep that in mind. Make a note, put it on your monitor, and it must say there, when my support is pulling, do not do something stupid. Do not try play aggressively. Just try to get as many creeps as possible, or simply just sit under my tower if they have too high kill potential. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you go into your future games. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And we'll continue with the lane in here, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so now they get a pull off. They have a really big wave as well. They're going to try to play aggressively with it. Could have avoided that stun there, but you're going to get a kill out of this. So this is fine. The enemy are pretty... Oh, okay. And then your second big mistake of the lane here. Okay? You're playing Juggernaut, and you're buying Elven Skin, and you're buying Glove of Haste. On Juggernaut, you always buy boots before your Glove of Haste and your Elven Skin. Like... On Juggernaut, you literally buy boots before everything normally. Like, normally you just get 1 Wraith Band and then you get your boots. Like, this is the one carry hero where you always want your boots before your Glove of Haste, and you did the exact opposite. And it's pretty obvious why, right? Because if you have the boots here, you get this kill, and maybe you're like, oh, but this is one situation. But as a Juggernaut, you're always in this situation because you need your boots to keep up with the enemy in order to do damage to them, because that's how Blade Fury works, right? So that's the second thing. Write another note, put on your monitor. When I play Juggernaut, buy boots before I buy the other stuff. And when I say buy boots, like first, don't like start with boots in the lane now or something. All I mean is you want boots as like your first or second item you courier out. Normally, like what I said at the start of the game, you should get Wraithband and then you should get your boots. And then you're going to be looking really good. So, and this is why, right? You just need the boots to keep up with the enemy so your Blade Fury does damage. You will still get the damage, you do still get the kill there, but you take a lot of damage because the kill takes so long, and also there's a lot of situations where you will miss the kill because you don't have boots. So just keep that in mind when you're playing Juggernauts. Yeah, you're missing a bunch of creeps here as well now. Yeah, we're missing quite a bunch of last hits at this point as well. Honestly, I feel like it looks to me like you're pretty taunted at this point. And I'm not sure what's happening, if I'm going to be honest, at this point in the lane, because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a level 4 Juggernaut, and I'm seeing a level 4 Jakiro, and then I'm seeing a level 3 I'm seeing a level 3 Centaur zone Juggernaut from the lane. And I also see a Jakiro with 2 souls, and I see you playing very afraid in the lane. So like, okay, if the lane is in a situation where like this, where your support is pull in or whatever, and the enemy offlaner is like standing aggressively in front of the creeps, all you need to do is you just need to run close to the creeps, click him, pull the creeps back, and then you can literally just do that infinite times. You can just pull the creeps down here if you want to. There's no reason to miss these last hits. You can simply just aggro them down. You should not let him like completely zone you like this. There's like no reason for that. You have 4 HP, you have 3 tangos, your Jakiro has 2 souls for you. Like, you know, you're letting him bully you a little bit too much here for no reason, pretty much. Okay, so this is the first thing I'm seeing that I like, is that you're buying your treads as like one of your first items. So you're quite strong right now. But the other thing is, like I said earlier, I think phase boots is better in this lane, and I think phase boots on Jug is like pretty good in general. Because as a Jug, you normally want to be dominating your lane because you're quite a strong laner, and phase boots is just such an insane timing on this hero in the lane that I just feel like it's really good. Like if you have a phase boots right now instead of a treads for the lane, you're like really way stronger, and you can like bully the centaur and just trade with him the whole time. You guys are like, this Jakiro's missing his spells and stuff, and also he's not pulling, which is quite a big problem. But yeah, like what you need to understand in this lane is, as long as your Jakiro is there and he has dual breath up, you can just fight them. So you should be trying to like use that a lot more. Also, I would say you should buy a stick before you go straight for the Battle Fury. You can also just go like magic wand if you want to. Yeah, and again here, if you see your support is pulling, don't run into the lane like that. Like at this point, this is when you don't want to run in. This is when you want to be a little bit more careful, because your support is miles away and he's getting the pull. And what happens when he pulls? These creeps are going to come under your tower. So, you know, just let him pull. And when the creeps get low, you can try aggro creeps back, but you need to be careful about it. So yeah, this isn't too bad though. Like, it's bad that they are allowed to force your spin like that, and it's really bad that your Jakiro misses the pull there. Like, that's really bad. But you're still gonna get the last hits here actually, so it's fine. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but you should have seen that coming, to be honest, because your Scarlet Mage spammed, let's see, 4 times that Queen of Pain is missing. So you probably should have been aware that Queen of Pain is missing. So yeah, just pay more attention to what your mid lane is saying. And this is, again, a really terrible death. Like, you're extremely far behind at this point. Like, you have 14 last hits because you died twice at the worst points possible to die. Like, both times you died was as a huge creep wave was coming under your tower. So you've missed like just an insane amount of creeps. So yeah, like, and both those deaths were avoidable if we're gonna be honest, right? So, you know, we just need to be better with that. Quite far behind at this point, obviously. You are queuing up the Battle Fury. It's a decent game for Battle Fury. The only problem with Battle Fury here is that you should realize that you're losing your lane very hard, and you should have a quick look over at mid, and then you quickly realize that mid isn't going very well either, and then you should go have a quick look at bottom, and you also realize that bottom doesn't look too good either when you see their items, right? So this is something you should be doing. You just want to check like what the state of the game is, how well you and your team are doing. If you're doing really badly, you generally don't want to buy a Battle Fury because they're gonna force your objectives and they're gonna run at you. So Battle Fury is very hard for, like, it's quite hard for you to farm with Battle Fury if they do that, right? But if you do feel like they're not going to be able to push your towers, like, they don't have the best tower push, right? Like, they have pretty good, like, Quap can gank and stuff, but they can't really push that amazingly. Like, Centaur's decent, but for the most part, they can't pressure your towers that badly. So if you get that Battle Fury at a decent time, it can still work out for you okay. So yeah. Yeah, you see the cop die mid, so I'd say you just want to shove in this lane now and try hit the mid tower as fast as you can. So I like what you're doing here. You should be hitting this tower though. It's a lot of free damage. I guess farming the creeps are fine as well. You need the last hits, to be honest. You just want to shove this out and go jungle, and you want to micro your healing ward so you don't give cop free gold. You need to be very careful here. I'm not sure if you're keeping track of his sonic wave. Probably are. Okay, so we'll continue here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, sorry about that. So okay, so what you're doing right now is fine. You probably shouldn't be like hanging around the mid lane too much, especially at this point when the Quap can like harass you. The important thing to do mid, right? Like the only thing you really need to do here, like you don't need to lane against a Quap like this, right? All you need to do is you need to just go jungle, right? And then keep an eye on mid lane. And if you see mid lane is being shoved in, then you come and you defend the tower. Because if you do that, this Quap can't do this to you where she's annoying you the whole time, right? So it's pointless for you to be trying to lane versus Quap like this. What you should be doing is just jungling, and then when you see the lane is being shoved in, which she will do inevitably, she's not just going to sit there and deny every creeps, because then she's going to be useless. And you're fine with that as well. Then you just happily jungle away. The important thing and the only thing that matters to you about the mid lane is that this Quap is not dealing damage to your mid tower. So that's the only thing you need to really focus on doing right now. So I don't really like that you're like taking all this damage and stuff, mid. You might get a kill there though on the Quap, but still, I feel like you lost quite a bit of farm. Like, and still, it's not really necessary for you to be here for the past like 5 minutes trying to lane against her. Like, when you see that your teammates want to make that play, then it's a good play to like run to the lane and like try keep the Quap there, right? Yeah, and at this point, well, I'm a little bit confused right now. Okay. Okay, so yeah, now the Quap respawns. Okay, so again, like you shouldn't really be running here. If the Quap is in the lane, you don't really want to be here laning against her. You should just defend the tower, like I said. Okay, so this is fine. We have Iron Talon, so you can farm the Ancients pretty efficiently as well. Yeah, farming the stack with your Underlord. This is good. I'd say also it's probably better to get the Claymore before the Ring of Health, just so that you farm a bit faster in the jungle. You should have enough sustain with the healing, but it's not too bad. This helps as well. You're actually a little bit low on sustain, so this is fine. The Battle Fury is not going to be a very good timing, but it's not going to be too bad either. If we just continue farming these Ancients, it'll be perfectly fine. Okay, decide to finish the Perseverance first. The game is honestly not that bad of a spot. Like, I would expect it to be way worse for you right now, considering you lost 3 lanes. So it's actually in a very winnable position for you. And you're doing a good job of just farming right now. If we just like try factor in if our lane went reasonably, like your lane, I just want you to realize your lane should never go the way it went this game. Like, it just came, the only reason you're like so far underfarmed and poor is because of the way you played the lane. And if you just like start chilling a bit more in the lane and just playing more like for yourself, and you know, just like hitting creeps and chilling in the lane and playing aggressively and fighting the enemy when you're strong enough to do so, and like just follow those things that I told you in the lane, your games are going to be a lot better, right? Like, the fact is that this game your lane just went really badly, so you're going to have not that good of a time in. But you're doing a decent job now of catching up. Okay, this is fine. you always have the spin TP to escape. They have no way to cancel spin TP, so you just wanna, that's something that's very important to always try figure, like just make sure you're aware of that when you're playing like Juggernaut or Lysula. That was a very good reaction to the Stomp. The Omni is fine as well. You should just probably back off right now. Okay. Yeah. You don't want to fight anymore. You've used Omni. You're pretty much not ready to fight it. You can't fight without Omni, especially when you're going Battle Fury. So you should just back off as soon as you use that Omni. Go for the stack here. We're top net worth now, so you're doing a really good job of catching up. And if we imagine, like, if your lane actually went how it should have, you would literally be like 10k net worth right now, right? And the game would be looking extremely good for you. You played this mid game, like the post laning stage, a lot better than you played the laning stage. So I'd say, like, so far what I've seen, that's definitely one of the big things you should start working on. And it's quite easy to fix, really. There's just a couple of things you need to start doing better, and you're gonna find that the lane is quite simple to play. Like, you just need to be, you just need to not make these silly plays, and the lane is just very easy, and you can just free farm. Yeah, you're doing the right thing right now. Like, I don't think you should really be doing anything else. When you see, one thing I will say, and this goes for the whole game, the second you see this happen, like even there, you see PA and you see Centaur top, right? Again, you see PA and Centaur top. When you see this happening, like, it's pretty obvious that they want to commit for this tower, right? So your response immediately, you need to stop farming this and you need to run like this, okay? And you need to shove in this lane over here, not farm here. As soon as you see the enemy and there's no threat to you being bottom lane, you run bottom and you just shove in this lane and you force, and then you can even start hitting the tower. And then if someone TPs, then you run back, you farm, and you're a happy man. So, you know, you just want to make sure you're always doing this whenever possible. Like at every point of the game, pretty much. Whenever you're able to shove lane and apply pressure to other parts of the map, you need to do it. That's one of the, like, probably the biggest complaint I have right now of what I've been seeing of your play recently. But for the most part, you're you know, you're farming, you're keeping high net worth, you have the Omni Slash now ready, so you can look to like defend towers or like TP into an engagement if the enemy like take a bad one. But obviously if the fight starts like that, you're not interested. Your next item, you queuing up the Manta. Yeah, so we look at the Manta. What does it really do for us this game? It's nice versus Fate's Edict. Other than that, it doesn't really do that much, right? Sometimes we can Manta dodge if we're really good at Manta dodging. But for the most part, it isn't that amazing. And the way I normally approach this decision is I'm only buying Manta if it's really good. If it's not, I'd rather have the status resistance than the HP. So I think this is a game I would rather go SNY. So just something to keep in mind there. Like, the Manta isn't bad though. Like, there is a root from Oracle and there's the Face Edict. But I do think that the SNY is a bit better here. Like, a good reason to go Manta is if it's actually gonna like just save you. But you see, like, you'll see that actually when Manta doesn't have some specific like reason to save you or something, it's better to get SNY because it's just going to do a better job and it's cheaper, right? Like, it's 500 gold cheaper and it's actually going to help you survive more. If like Manta isn't saving you from like an orchid or something that kills you, SNY will actually do a better job of saving you. And this is a bad death because you're going to get glimpsed here, I assume. Okay, you should definitely die there. The Centaur just gave up on the chase. So yeah, what I would suggest is when you're playing against it's a very good reaction though. When you're playing against Disruptor, you generally have to TP out when you spin. I was pretty sure you were going to get glimpsed there and just die, but you do survive, so that's a little bit fortunate. Okay, and we're gonna have the Manta up soon. I assume like your next item should probably just be Scotty or MKB, like one of the two. I think both are decent options. The thing about MKB is you only really need the MKB when the PA has BKB, because for now your Leshrac and your Skyrath can actually kill the PA. But after she has BKB, you're gonna need to be the one that actually like deals damage to her as well. So you don't need to have the... Okay, nice spin TP. I would say when you do spin TP, try to spin TP to a wave that you can instantly like start shoving, like top or mid, so that you can instantly start farming again. But it'll still good TP. And running bottom is a little bit scary because you do know the centaur is here. But there's no disruptor, so it should be quite hard for them to kill you. And you see the Quap and the... Okay, you see all three mid now, so you should go hit the bottom tier 2 now. There's no reason for you to... Okay, yeah, you can also run to the fight, that's fine as well. You should be able to get a couple of kills here. Like, at least this Oracle is gonna die. Use your Battle Fury to cut the trees. It's gonna help with that. Yeah, and you'll get another kill. Yes, these are very good kills. And now you can just go shove in mid, get your lanes shoved in. You do queue up the Ags. I don't think that's very good. Like I said, I think it's better to just go the I guess you're gonna go like Ags MKB. It isn't too bad. Like the Ags is pretty good, but I think Scotty is a bit better. It's just gonna make you tankier. It's gonna give you more damage. Scotty is just an insanely good item. And I feel like the Ags doesn't do that much until you have the MKB. And it's quite greedy as well, I feel like. Okay, so it's good that you went Manta, because Ukop actually bought an Orchid after. Okay, nice spin TP again. Yeah, the fight wasn't too bad. Like, obviously it was pretty bad, but for you it wasn't too bad. You survived. That's the most important thing. And obviously, I think the way these fights are happening are just not very good. Like, the position you guys are fighting in, to be honest. Like, you're just running into darkness and you're trying to fight them. Like, the way you need to try approach these fights is you need to initiate on this Oracle every fight, and you need the silence, right? You need to make sure this guy doesn't use his spells. And yeah, you just need to kill the Oracle, and then you take the fight from there. Like, the most important targets are Oracle and then Disruptor. You can probably just continue shoving this lane bottom. There's not much risk to you from dying, to be honest. This is a bit of a scary fight to take, just because you do not have your Omni. And you don't really have like your Ags yet or anything. But it does look like it's kind of working out. Yeah, it looks like you won't get any kills here. You will get the Disruptor. They did use Oracle ult and they used Stampede, so, and they used Quap ult, I believe. But yeah, for the most part, you should just back off now. You should try farm your Ags and then try fight with that timing. Like, you want to try fight around your timings as much as possible. Generally, try to avoid fighting when your spells are on cooldown. Like, just try shoving lanes as much as possible and apply pressure that way when you have spells on cooldown. That's like the best thing you can do generally. And that was a complete waste of an Omni, so that was very bad. And you need to TP out because you can't fight this guy. Yeah, so this is a really bad death. Yeah, so you've been making like pretty much the right plays up until now, but then this death is very random because, I mean, look, there's just no way you ever get this kill. You don't have your MKB. Like, if you don't know that his blur is used, then you can't omni him like this. And secondly, even if you omni him, he probably doesn't die because he can blink in 5 seconds and literally has 50% evasion. Your only play here is to spin and TP top or mid. So yeah, this is a random death because I've seen you consistently be making like pretty logical decisions, and then this death just like pretty much makes no sense to me. So yeah, like, you know, just like try if you're playing against a PA and you don't have MKB and you jug, you can't really just man fight her, you know. I'm not really sure what else to say there. Also to mention, like when you try to make kills like this, their teammates are always gonna like TP and connect. So yeah, that was just a very random play. Yeah, you have the Ags now, but the enemy are getting like a very big advantage at this point. Your teammates unfortunately take a fight after you fed, so that kind of just puts salt in the wound for you guys, and it's going to be quite hard like to take fights now. Like the problem pretty much right now is PA is unkillable because you don't have MKB and she has a BKB, so your teammates don't do anything to her anymore. So yeah, it makes it a little bit tricky to take the fights. I still do feel like you need to kill the Oracle first in the team fights though, so. But you should probably be farming your MKB before you try to take another fight. Like you really need this to actually deal with the PA. Before MKB, you don't really do anything to her. And she just kills all your allies very quickly at this point. Okay, again, I don't think you should be trying to force fights right now. Like, I think you should just be telling your teammates to try avoid fighting, and you should be shoving in bottom lane and trying to pressure this tower whenever enemies are trying to push or take objectives. Sure, you can try to contest rush with like long range spells and poking at them, but again, it's quite hard. The only time you actually have to fight them is when they take rush. And again, I think on the second rush you probably don't this is the first rush actually. Wow, that's crazy. It's 32 minutes. I think on the first rush you don't contest them because, like I said, at this point PA has no way to be killed, and not to mention Centaur as well has no way to be killed. So you kind of just need to farm more items, and you need to kind of go for a split pushing type strategy at this point in the game. If you just try fight them, it's like, it's kind of pointless. I don't think you do enough damage. Yeah, so you just lose the fight. Like I said, PA is untouchable without MKB, so you can't take the fight. It's that simple. So your only other option is to avoid the fights and try to apply pressure to other parts of the map. Your buyback doesn't really do anything here either. They're not going to be able to get megas, and they can't end the game, so there's no reason to buy back. Yeah, but the game is pretty much over at this point, I feel like. Like, it's very hard for you to win now because your MKB item is just way too delayed, like the timing, because of these 2 deaths you've had. And the PA, again, she's like unkillable and she has a second life now as well. So like I said, again, it's impossible for you to take fights. The only thing you can do is try to split push, and you just keep on trying to fight them, which is interesting. Like, firstly, there's no way you fight them. If you have MKB, like, maybe you can fight them, right? Because you'll have a lot more damage. But trying to fight them without MKB is, I feel like you're just like conceding almost. And the PA just gets bigger and bigger the more fights you take. So yeah, like at this point the game is pretty much over. So I'd say like the biggest things I would want you to start working on, or I think you need to start working on if you want to start improving, is firstly the laning stage was a big part of this game. Like a lot of easy things to fix there if you start working on that. A lot to do with, like, you know, when your supporters pull in and so forth, and also with your item decisioning, you know, you just need to improve a bit on that. For, I think the best, like, you actually played quite well post laning stage. Like, you played correctly and you made a decent recovery. Like, you did a good job of defending mid tower. The only thing about that is, like I said, you should not be trying to lane against the Quap. The only goal you have of doing this is defending the tower. So when the creep's on under your tower and you're not defending it, you should just be jungling. And then as the game goes on, you kind of need to realize after the fights go out that firstly you need to start formulating some way you're going to win fights. So then you're going to be thinking, how do we win the fights? Then you should come to the conclusion that Oracle needs to die first. So then you need to start buying items or finding a way to make that happen. And then as the game goes on, if you realize that PA doesn't die because she has BKB and you have no other physical damage source against her, then you simply need to dodge them until you have MKB before you try to take a fight. So, you know, like, these are kind of all the steps you needed to have a chance in this game. I think from the start, though, it was pretty unlikely you were going to win, though, just because of the way the lanes went. And I do think they have quite a better draft than you guys. So, you know, all these things matter. But all those things are things you could have done to, like, improve your chances of winning this game. And you probably could have won if you played it better and you just applied more pressure instead of trying to fight them head on. So, yeah, that's going to be the replay analysis, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.